What's good, Raider Nation? It's your boy Sanji back at it with another video. Wow, man, what an exciting victory for the Las Vegas Raiders, man. This one was huge. I want to get into this, man. We're going to break it down fully. Hopefully, I can get a couple people to join me during the broadcast here. But I really want to jump right into it, man. The Raiders get the W, and this one was, I think, the biggest game so far of the season. Obviously, the Monday night game was great, and you want to get that win. But this one, think about it. We went to Heinz Field. We went to the Pittsburgh Steelers arena, and we whooped them. And honestly, I think we beat them worse than what the score indicated. I think officially we beat them by 9 points. But we could have put this game away much sooner. 9 points in the first half, 3 field goals. Should have converted into more touchdowns, man. We were at, the 2-yard line at one point, and then we had to settle for a field goal after a couple of mistakes by the Raiders. But overall, man, this is how you win football games. Like, the offense scored, the defense had multiple stops. There was a point in this game where I said, all right, we're up by 9 points, a 2-possession game. Late in the fourth quarter, 8 minutes left, and the defense stepped up. Jonathan Abram, Denzel Perryman, KJ Wright, all these guys swarmed the tight end of the Steelers, and they forced the stop. I think it was 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and the Steelers punted the ball. That right there was the turning point of the game, and I'm excited, man. Solomon Thomas, big shout out to him. He had a couple of sacks. Great job by him. He had a couple of hits as well. He did make one mistake, which could have cost us big. But Solomon Thomas, great game, man. 2 sacks. I think those were the only sacks we had the whole entire game. But we had a bunch of hits on the quarterback as well. Max Crosby had 5 quarterback hits, man. Great job by Max Crosby getting those hits. Trayvon Mullen had 2 pass breakups. Casey Hayward, multiple pass breakups. The defense was flying today, man. And I see all the comments coming in. I'm pumped up, man. I appreciate the comment on 6. Said Raiders, 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 Raiders. DC to Ruggs. How nice was that touchdown, man? The defense kept bracketing Waller, and I was like, all right, man, at one point, you have to have Waller run a route one way, and you got to hit Ruggs over the top. And that's exactly what the Raiders did. They hit Henry Ruggs deep, and that's how you win football games, man. You got to make plays when it counts. That was a beautiful throw by Derek. It was a beautiful catch by Ruggs, and he beat the coverage. Minkah Fitzpatrick was like a yard away, but ultimately the Raiders scored, man, and that's how you win. DC right now, think about it, has over 800 yards in his first 2 games, and he just played 2 top 5 defenses from last year, and we whooped them, man. DC starting off hot, man. If he can keep this going, this is how the Raiders make the playoffs. This is how the Raiders win a Super Bowl. DC has to keep firing, man. I see all the comments coming in. Jimmy C said, what GM said Carr has no room to grow? That's a great point, man, because DC looks so much better today. And it's crazy, man, because over the last 2 to 3 weeks, I've been saying it, man, that I have so much confidence in DC, and he's proven it. He's stepping up. DC, the defense, Mad Max and Solomon steps up, and Dallin Levet, huge hit on Chase Claypool to force an incompletion, to force them to attempt a 56-yard field goal. Obviously, they made it, but that's how you win games, right? You force the defense, or the defense has to force the offense. I'm excited, man. Kevin Lurker said, woohoo, a defense. Crazy, right? The Raiders have a defense. Like, how long has it been since the Raiders have been able to have guys on the defensive side of the ball step up and make plays? Like, just think about all the plays that were made today. You look at that play with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter where the defense swarmed the ball and stopped the Steelers and forced them to punt. And then they got the ball back with like 5 minutes left. That's how you win football games, man. Fing V left a super chat, $10. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. DC is the man. I totally agree, man. Right now, and I know a lot of people are going to start saying it, right now it looks like Derek Carr is a front runner for MVP, right? Like, we'll see at the end of this this week where DC ranks, but he's going to be in the top 3 to 5 in terms of yards. So I'm excited, and I'm happy that DC is stepping up. You look at all the hate that DC's gotten, and I'll take my part for that too. I've been very critical of DC, and you look at what he's doing right now. You look at what he's doing with this offense. You look at the way that him and John Gruden, think about it. Like, Darren Waller had one target in the first half. They knew right away, right after the first drive of the game, they knew that Minkah Fitzpatrick and whatever linebacker or corner it will be, they're going to bracket Darren Waller. So they drew up their offense, especially in the second half. The second half adjustment was huge. They drew up their offense, and they said, we're going to use Darren Waller as a decoy, and we're going to hit other players. Hunter Renfrow was getting yards. Brian Edwards, man, he even had a touchdown that was called back. In my opinion, it was a horrible call, but it is what it is. At the same time, you have Darren Waller on that big touchdown play. I believe he ran an out route, or it might have been an in route. And Minkah Fitzpatrick was bracketing Waller, and he realized it too late that Henry Ruggs is running deep, and that Henry Ruggs is about to hit him for a touchdown. Great design by Gruden, great route run by Ruggs, and great throw by DC, man. That's what it takes to win. That's one play, and those are the different moving parts that the Raiders have to have. Thank you for the super chat. Aunt Six said, left a $5 super chat. He said, Carr for an MVP, not the offense, is not even healthy. What's up with Clean Lock playing and Leatherwood getting benched? What's the first video you got going? Well, let's talk about this, man. First and foremost, officially, I don't think Leatherwood was benched, although you don't really know if that was the case or not. But it was reported that he got hurt, and it was reported that he was out because of that injury. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what the Raiders are saying right now. Leatherwood did play terribly. And again, we got lucky. TJ Watt was questionable with the groin injury and then eventually out, because after the first drive or two, TJ Watt was causing havoc, man. The Raiders got lucky with TJ Watt not being in the game. At the end of the day, did Alex Leatherwood get benched? You guys tell me in the comments below. Was Alex Leatherwood benched, or was he actually hurt? I'm going to say he was actually hurt. I don't think the Raiders stuck it with Colton Miller, who gave 17 sacks his rookie year. I don't see them benching Leatherwood for Brandon Parker, especially Brandon Parker. Like, come on, Brandon Parker is probably one of the worst football players I've ever seen. Although credit to him, he did okay, right? He came in, he did okay. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure what's going on with Cleveland Farrell. He played a little bit, but it seemed like Carl Nassib was playing more than Cleveland Farrell. Solomon Thomas even got some defensive end snaps. So I'm not sure what's going on with Cleveland Farrell. I don't know if it has to do with his health. Maybe he's just not healthy. Either way, the Raiders got to get Cleveland Farrell figured out. You got to get him going. Rookie left tackle, I think a horrible right tackle. Rookie center, you have to have Cleveland Farrell line up over the guys and take advantage. We drafted him with the 4th overall pick. So we got to get it done, man. We got to get it going. Thank you for the super chat. Foxy Scorpio left a $5 super chat, said, I love Gus Bradley. And you and me both. You and me both, man. Gus Bradley is the MVP so far of this team, man. I know people are saying it's Derek Carr, but you have to say Gus Bradley. Like, how crazy is it that we can actually rely on our defense to get stops and not just give up points after points after points? I would argue the Chase Claypool catch on Damon Arnett was an offensive pass interference. In my opinion, you can't fully extend your arm all the way out, and that's exactly what Chase Claypool did. That's an offensive pass interference, in my personal opinion. Obviously, it wasn't called, but outside of that play, and I think Deontay Johnson also had a big catch on Trayvon Mullen. Outside of those two plays, we didn't really give up many big plays. I believe I believe there was one other play. Maybe it was Najee Harris, and that wasn't a huge play. But the Raiders defense, man, bend but don't break. Think about how difficult it would have been for us last year to allow 17 points. 17 points. Like, that's crazy. Like I'm sure someone can look this up. Did the Raiders give up less than 17 points at all last year? I don't think we did. And we gave up 17 points to a Steelers offense that's they have playmakers. Deontay Johnson went for over 100 yards, and he's their 3rd wide receiver. So this team definitely has playmakers. Thank you for the super chat. Gus Bradley, great job so far. Eric Valquez left a $2 super chat, said, all we do is win, 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 no matter what. Absolutely love it. Thank you for the super chat. Yugsov, I hope I said your name right. $5 super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Let's get into some of these statistics, and let's get into some of the things that I noticed. First and foremost, Derek Carr. Derek Carr had a great game, man. He was 28 of 37 for 382 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was sacked twice, and he did fumble the ball once. And there was obviously the bad snap between him and Andre James on the first drive. Basically ruined that drive as well. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. Derek Carr, man, 382 yards, 28 of 37. It doesn't get better than that. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is one of the top defenses in the league. Think about this. They started 11-0 last year, and that too, they started 11-0 because of their defense. Not because of their offense, but because of their defense. And the Raiders had how many turnovers today? That's how you win a football game right there, man. At the same time, we forced them into 1 interception and even a 4th down stop that the Raiders were able to get from them. We had 2 turnovers, right? I consider a 4th down stop a turnover. The Raiders forced 2 turnovers on defense, as well as a couple of sacks, a couple of hits, and then Derek Carr on the offense side of the ball, 382 yards. The receiver stepped up when needed, man. Hunter Renfrow, I believe he did most of his damage in the first half. In fact, I don't know if Hunter Renfrow even had a catch in the second half, but 5 catches for 57 yards. Bryan Edwards, 3 catches for 40 yards, and Edwards obviously had the touchdown called back. Foster Moreau had 2 catches for 34 yards. And, of course, the beautiful touchdown that Derek Carr put into the back of the end zone. Carr played lights out, man. There was points in this game where I said Derek Carr has to get it done. Derek Carr has to score. Derek Carr has to put this offense on his back. And he answered, man. The Steelers kept getting close, right? Over and over and over again, they were getting close. And Darren Waller kept kept answering, and he scored. Anytime the Steelers scored, Derek Carr went and scored. The Raiders scored 10 points in the fourth quarter, 17 points in the second half. 17 points in the second half. And crazingly, this game, the Raiders scored in every single quarter. As you guys know, week 1, the Raiders did not score in the first and third quarters. They really only scored in the second and fourth quarters. That too, they don't really only scored when the pressure was on. When the Raiders were down and they had to score points, 2-minute offense type of drills. The only time the Raiders scored last week, that wasn't the case this week. The Raiders kept the pace going. Derek Carr in shotgun is deadly. And I think that's what the Raiders need to do, especially when you can't run the football. The Raiders struggled today. And, people are going to say it was the offensive line or whatever. I don't think it was the offensive line that was the bigger issue. I think Kenyon Drake struggles running the football to the inside. And that's what I saw. I saw Kenyon Drake not hit the holes. When the holes were there, he would try bouncing it outside or bending it back inside too quickly and not making the proper reads. I think the Raiders need to figure out their run game, especially if Josh Jacobs is not healthy week 3. It doesn't get easier. Our 2 next week games are going to be huge for the Raiders. Yuxab said, from Yuba to the Bay, Raider Nation all day. Huge shout out to you, man. Born and raised in Yuba City. So Yuba City still in my heart. I'm currently in the Bay Area now, but Yuba City, man, that's where I'm from. So shout out to you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Omar left a $2 super chat. Did it scare you, DC getting hit? Absolutely, man. When DC went down, I know all of Raider Nation was panicking because not only did I think DC's hurt, and then I started thinking, holy shit, here comes Nathan Peterman because Marcus Mariota's obviously out. And I'm glad DC was able to get up. I'll say this. If DC was able to walk off the field, I knew for a fact DC would be back in the game because DC is that type of guy. DC does not care if as long as he can walk, as long as it's not broken, he'll be back in the game. So it definitely scared me. Thank you for the super chat. Who's the best team in the AFC? Ben Jenkins said that. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you right now. But you can argue the Raiders are right there, top 3 or 4 in the team in the AFC. Obviously, we'll see as teams get healthier, as the Raiders get healthier, as teams get it going. Week 3 to 6 is when you'll really see what kind of teams are out there. But I think the Raiders are right there, man. Do you guys agree with that? Are Raiders one of the best teams in the AFC? Think about it. We just beat the Ravens and the Steelers. The Steelers dominated the Bills last week. So there's that too, right? The Patriots got to win today. I think the Patriots, as they get it figured out, they'll get better as well. But yeah, man, DC played a great game. And I'll be honest with you guys. If DC continues to play like this, the Raiders are going to be unstoppable. The offensive line was not able to get it going for the running game, but again, I would argue that the running game is more so because of the actual running backs. Kenyon Drake had 7 carries for 9 yards. That's not acceptable. If the Raiders want to have success, they got to get the ball going. But I almost feel like the Raiders are better when we put the ball in Derek Carr's hands. When we say Derek, get in shotgun and throw the ball, I feel like the Raiders are almost better than when they say let's run the ball 35 times a game. Either way, we got the W. That's all that matters ultimately. But I do want to see the Raiders continue to improve, right? I think there are some issues, and we'll get into those as we kind of go on. Obviously, I think one of the issues is the Raiders' run game. 25 carries for a total of 52 yards. We can't have that. And on top of that, we had a long of 13 yards from Peyton Barber. You take away that 13-yard run from Peyton Barber. Barber has 12 carries for 19 yards. That's terrible. Again, I know the Steelers' front is stout, but you consider the fact that TJ Watt was out, Tyson Alalalu went down early. They had a couple other guys that were kind of hurt. Devin Bush didn't play. Joe Hayden didn't play. Those things only help the Raiders out. Now, again, I know some people are going to kill Alex Leatherwood and kind of what happens, and we'll switch over to the offense line in just a second. But Austin D. Leonard said Derek Carr, 817 yards, most ever in the first 2 games in Raiders history. Man is a beast who needs appreciated ASAP. That's incredible, man. Think about that. 817 yards. And you know what's crazy is I was looking at Derek Carr's stats. If you guys look at his stats over the last 4 to 5 games in last season, Derek Carr was averaging like 320, 350 yards a game. And don't quote me on that being the exact number, but he was balling out, man. And it's continued on this season. Derek Carr is still having that same impact. And that's what the Raiders need, man. Derek Carr has to keep it going. At the same time, we're only going to get healthier, right? Richie should be back soon, hopefully. Hopefully that calf doesn't keep him out too long. At the same time, we'll get some other players healthier, and ready to go. Hopefully Josh is back soon. On the defense side of the ball, Nick Morrow, Javen White, those 2 guys should eventually be back. Week 4 is probably the earliest they'll be back. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But we have a couple more super chats. Let's get into those. Aunt6 said, how has Trayvon Merrick played in your opinion? I'll be honest. It's kind of hard to watch the safeties. But I'll say this. We haven't allowed any big catches, right? And that's always a positive. If we're allowing big catches, and that too in the middle of the field, right? It's different if Trayvon Mullen or Damon Arnett allows a big catch versus if there's a big catch in the middle of the field. I'm going to say he's been having a great season so far. Obviously, I'll go back and I'll watch the film later on this week. I'll watch the film of this game and last game, and I'll do a film breakdown. So I think part of the last super chat was what's one of my next videos. I think Trayvon Merrick's a good one to have. Kevin Lurker said Pittsburgh's running was worse. Pittsburgh had 14 carries for 39 yards. So they averaged 2.8 yards per carry. The Raiders averaged 2.1 yards per carry. The Pittsburgh Steelers weren't that much better. But I will say this. Their running back, Najee Harris, had 10 carries for 38 yards. Almost 4 yards a carry. Not horrible, but it's not great either, right? At the end of the day, this game came down to the fact that which defense was going to play better and which quarterback was going to play better. And for the Raiders, we had both of those. We had a better defense and we had a better quarterback. And the Raiders got it done, man. That's what the Raiders have to keep doing. This one comes from 805 Hunter. He left a $5 super chat. Thank you for the super chat. We need to have a killer instinct. We kept losing momentum and letting the Steelers back in the game. And I 100% agree with you on that, man. There are points in this game where I said the Raiders got to get it done right now. The Raiders have to get it done. The Raiders need to go downfield. They need to score points. They need to put this game away. And we weren't able to do it. Specifically, when we were up by 9 points, when the Steelers punted the ball with 8 minutes left, we picked up 1 first down, but we got to pick up more first downs. We got to put the game away. Now, obviously, we're not healthy, right? From a left guard to right guard, we weren't healthy. Even our right tackle was out, right? So, you can kind of blame the offensive line, the running back, of course, some injuries. But the Raiders have to learn to put games away. That's what good teams do, and the Raiders kind of struggled at times. Either way, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. We're going to get into some offensive line talk in just a second. I'm going to get through the super chats. Brian Rodriguez, $2 super chat. Do you think Farrell is done and will get traded? I do not think he's done, and I do not think he will get traded. I don't know how his health is like right now, but there's a chance that Clelin Ferrell at the moment is still banged up. Back injuries, in my opinion, are the worst injuries to have, and obviously that's kind of what Clelin Ferrell is dealing with. So we'll see what happens there. The next super chat comes from Kuljit T, who is my older brother. He said, LFG, our D looks 100 times better, and Derek looks like his 2016 form. We normally don't win games in which we can't run, and we are 2-0 in such games. That is 100% fact, man. The Raiders right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball, look 100 times better. Our run fits look better. Our secondary is playing better. Our linebackers are playing better. Our defensive ends, defensive tackles, pass rush, everything looks better. But the thing is we heard this the whole entire offseason about how our team is looking. And it looks like we're going to, go into next week on a high note. And we're coming back to Vegas. So next week's game is going to be huge. We typically don't win games, man, where we can't run. And that's not the case anymore. So huge shout out to you for the super chat. Manish left the 449 super chat. Thank you. The media must now accept DC as being amongst the elite. And that's the thing. Will they actually do it? Not 100% sure. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Let's talk about the offensive line, man. As you guys know, Derek Carr did get sacked twice. I believe the first sack came on the first drive of the game. Actually, both sacks might have came on the first drive of the game. But outside of that, like Derek Carr was not hit much. Like he was kept pretty clean. I think the Steelers had 5 total hits on Derek. 3 of them came from Melvin Ingram, 1 came from TJ Watt, and 1 came from Jamar Jones. The Steelers were able to get after Carr a little bit, and the quick passing game really helped the Raiders, right? If it wasn't for that quick passing, man, DC would have been in trouble. And that's the thing, right? Like with our offense line, like we can lose players, we can bring guys in, and we could potentially struggle with the O-line. But because of our quick passing, because of guys like Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller, and even the check down guys, right? Like Kenyon Drake had how many catches today? He had 5 catches for 46 yards. Those are the things that help us win. John Gruden and Derek Carr understand this offense so much. And to be honest, I saw John Simpson get his ass kicked today, which is crazy because last week that was not the case. At the same time, I think Andre James, at least initially, looked like he had a good game. Jermaine Elmanor had a pretty good game. Brandon Parker had a pretty good game. Colton Miller was pretty dominant, right? I think he had 1 penalty. Outside of that, he looked very legit. The O-line got it done today, man. And the thing is we were without 3 starters today. And I know Jermaine Elmanor will probably be the starter the rest of the season unless he gets hurt or he struggles and then Lester Cotton comes in or even the new guy Simmons that we picked up. But the Raiders' offensive line looks perfectly fine, in my opinion. And part of it is because of the fact, John Gruden does keep in guys like Foster Moreau and Derek Carrier and Waller to pass block. He has the running back chip blocking. So all that makes a big difference for the Raiders' offensive line. I'm excited to go back and watch that offensive line tape. Also, just note that every Saturday I will do a full, thorough breakdown of the offensive line, and I'll give you guys my thoughts and opinions. I'll maybe start doing like grades of what I thought of week 1 versus week 2, and we'll kind of see how the team progresses throughout the season. I think the Raiders' offensive line is going to get it together, man. Today was very promising. We played a front 7 that is probably one of the best in the league, and the Raiders' offensive line did really good, in my opinion. Johnny Perez, thank you for the super chat. Penalties are still a huge issue. Down at the 2 and losing like 20 yards and end up kicking is unacceptable. I totally agree, man. I put it out on Twitter that mental mistakes are the biggest issue for the Raiders at the moment. You cannot have mental mistakes. If the Raiders continue to have mental mistakes, that's how you lose football games. I will argue that the Pittsburgh Steelers also had some mental mistakes. They also had some plays in which I feel like Big Ben kind of struggled. Maybe mentally he wasn't ready for what Gus Bradley was going to do. Either way, the Raiders could have put this game away earlier, in my opinion. The Raiders let the Steelers in this game. They let them stick around. They let them almost come back and win, right? But again, this is how teams get better, learn, and eventually this is how teams win Super Bowls, right? You got to get it together. Offense and defense. You have to be balanced. And the Raiders look good right now, man. Mental issues are still huge. Obviously, the Alex Leatherwood penalty, the Colton Miller penalty, ended up killing that drive, right? We went from a touchdown, a Brian Andrews touchdown, to eventually settling for a field goal. But in the second half, 17 points, 2 touchdowns in the second half. The Raiders got it together, man. And again, that's how you win, man. Thank you for the super chat. First Catch said health is our biggest enemy. At the moment, that's exactly what it looks like. You look at the offensive line and you look at how it's looking, and then at the same time, you look at what the Raiders could, potentially do when guys come back. Javen White and Nicholas Morrow, I think, are huge for the Raiders. It gives us more flexibility. At the same time, when you look at our O-line with Richie Incognito is our best offensive lineman, and he's out. And again, he had this similar injury last year where we're like, all right, maybe he'll come back week 3 or week 4. And then out of nowhere, boom, he's out for the year. And I hope that's not the case this year. But that's kind of what it's looking like. With that being said, let's switch over. Let's just talk a little bit about the defense. We had some guys flying out there, man, on the defensive side of the ball. And I know some people are definitely disappointed with Clelin Ferrell, as am I, man. I wanted Clelin Ferrell to go out there today and show up, get some sacks, get some pressure. And that's not what happened today. And I think those right there are the differences in guys. That too, right? Like he would have been going up against a 4th round offensive tackle. These are the types of games where Clelin Ferrell has to come in and step up. And I'll be honest, I think Clelin Ferrell is still hurt. Obviously, we'll see what happens as John Gruden kind of gives us an update as week 1 kind of goes on. Either way, man, it's going to be interesting. Raid the Tape said, our defense, man, is it too soon to say they're legit? Absolutely not, man. This defense is legit. And I think this defense right now, it could be a top 15 defense. Like, do you guys disagree with that? Do you guys think this defense right here could potentially be a top 15 defense? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. As we were talking about the defense, House Junkies said, we will get better. Absolutely. We will get better everywhere, man. Johnny Perez said, Max is a stud. Dude was all over Roethlisberger. And this is the thing. This was one of the comments that I was kind of getting early on. People tag me in comments on Twitter all the time, and they're like, where the hell's Max Crosby? He's, we don't see him. He's struggling. He's this, he's that. And the thing is Max Crosby was not struggling. Trust me when I say this, and maybe I'll do a film breakdown for you guys of Max Crosby. He had 5 quarterback hits, according to ESPN. And again, I don't know how accurate ESPN is. I'll wait for Pro Football Focus. I think they're a little bit more accurate than ESPN. But ESPN gave Max Crosby 5 quarterback hits. I know he wasn't able to actually bring him down, but there were many, many plays where Max Crosby was the sole reason why the Raiders got off the field. There was a play early in the second quarter where Big Ben wanted to take a shot deep. Max Crosby hit him, and the ball fell, and it fell like it fell about 20 yards. But it was short. It was well short of the receiver. And those are the differences in the game. That's how the Raiders win. And Max Crosby was having a fantastic game. Black Hole just said that Mad Max has been hitting Big Ben hard. That's the thing, right? Is all those hits over time, over the course of the game, they add up. And Big Ben's already not very mobile. So when you're getting after Big Ben, when you're hitting Big Ben, and when you're forcing Big Ben to sit in the pocket knowing that you're about to take a hit from Mad Max or Solomon Thomas or maybe it's Yannick Ngakoue, it's going to make Big Ben think, and it's going to make him just a little inaccurate. You look at the game today, the defensive line was getting after it, right? Solomon Thomas had 2 sacks, and I'm going to give him a huge shout out for getting those 2 sacks. But I will also say that the first sack was more of a coverage sack. Big Ben kind of pumped it, and then he kind of tried taking off running. And Solomon Thomas kind of just wrapped him up and brought him down. And that too, it wasn't like a loss of 7 yards, right? Big Ben really just got back to the line of scrimmage. He was credited for the sack. The second sack, Jonathan Hankins bull rushed his guy, and Solomon Thomas kind of cleaned it up. But I will give him credit for that second sack. He actually got into it. Solomon Thomas played a lot today, man. He played, I would say, at least like 40 to 60% of snaps. He had 2 total tackles, 2 sacks. He had a pass deflection at the line of scrimmage, which people might not realize. I believe that was the play in which they threw a flag on Jonathan Abram, where Jonathan Abram went to swat the ball, and that forced him into 3rd and I believe 9 or something instead of 1st down. But that pass deflection was the difference in the game. He also had one other quarterback hit, but I believe that was a penalty. Mental mistake by Solomon Thomas. He has to clean stuff like that up. You know what's crazy is there's a guy that covers the Niners that I asked him, like, hey, what's your thoughts and opinions on Solomon Thomas? And he told me this. He said Solomon Thomas is the guy that'll hit a quarterback on one play, get a sack on the next play, and then make a mental mistake on the third play. And that's kind of what I thought about when Solomon Thomas hit the quarterback. Now, I will say that did not look late to me, especially when you compare that hit to the hit that Derek Carr took, and that too, no penalty on the Derek Carr hit. That too, that's a low hit on the quarterback, right? You know, it's different if you hit a quarterback kind of high in the chest versus if you hit him in the knee or in the leg or the ankle or whatever. You know, again, surprised the referees didn't call it. Kevin Lurker left a $5 super chat. Huge shout out to you. JMD said John Abrams is looking awesome. Thank you, man, because I 100% agree with that. What do you guys think about Jonathan Abram? He did get stiff on by Najee Harris. I believe he was trying to punch the ball out. Huge stiff arm. And you know what's crazy is Najee Harris started trending, and that play started trending. But at that time, Najee Harris had like 5 carries for 19 yards. So I'm not sure why he was trending. And he finished with 38 yards on 10 carries. So it's not like he was trending for all the right reasons. At the end of the day, you look at the play in the with 8 minutes left, in which Big Ben hit that tight end, Freiermuth. The guy caught the ball. He had like 2 guys on him, and he was dragging them, about to pick the first up. It was Jonathan Abram that came and smacked him and stopped him from getting the first down. And the Steelers punted the ball. No one's going to think about that play. Of course, you know, I'll bring it up because I notice things like that, and I'll post that clip to social media. But those are the types of plays that matter, right? Those are the types of plays. Forcing that punt, the Raiders now were able to take off 3 minutes of the clock and then punt the ball back, and it made the Steelers reset their drives to hopefully go downfield. Those are the differences in the game, man. And that was a play that I saw Jonathan Abram make. Again, the Najee Harris play doesn't matter. They didn't score on that drive anyways, right? Either way, shout out to you for the comment. Thank you. If we doctored up this O-line, we're going far. Joey DeFar left a $2 super chat. I totally agree, man. And again, we'll switch back over the defensive line in just a second. Or I'm sorry, the offensive line. And we'll kind of talk about that a little bit later on. I want to stick with the defense, man. White Tyson, Abram had a very good game. Some people are saying the Condor. Thank you guys for the comments, man. It really makes going through these videos so much better. There's over 500 you guys. If you guys can hit that thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. Let's get into the defense. The D-line did their jobs. Solomon Thomas, great game. But let's talk about the linebackers, man, because Denzel Perryman had 12 tackles, and he was flying all over the field. And I know people are going to talk about the play in which he missed. I believe it was Juju Smith-Schuster who made I believe it was Denzel Perryman, and I don't know if it was Dalen Levette or Nate Hobbs. He made 2 guys miss, and he was able to convert. It was like a 3rd and long into a first down. And I believe the Steelers ended up kicking actually, that might have been the touchdown that the Steelers scored. But it's crazy because Denzel Perryman still had pretty solid game, man. 12 tackles today. Even last week, I don't know the exact amount of tackles he had. Let me just confirm. He had 12 total tackles today. And last week, he had another 10. So right now, he has 22 total tackles. That's insane, man. To get from a linebacker that the Raiders picked up less than 3 weeks ago, that's insane, man. He's doing a great job for the Raiders in this Gus Bradley scheme. Jonathan Abram had 8 tackles today. He had 1 tackle for a loss. He's flying out there as well. We have another super chat from CJR Garcia, $2. Thank you. You said thoughts on Littleton's play in the past 2 games. Corey Littleton's been lights out, man. I know it's hard to see it. I know it's very hard to see Corey Littleton and what he's doing out there on the field. But I want to talk about this, man. Corey Littleton has been playing lights out. And there's no statistics that you guys are going to see on the field, right? Because he has what? He had 5 tackles today. But what Corey Littleton's doing is he's playing coverage. There was a play last week in which he shut the middle of the field down. There was a crosser. He shut it down. Lamar Jackson ends up getting sacked. Today, similar plays, right? Like Big Ben's pump faking it, trying to, he thinks twice about throwing it in the middle of the field. It's because Corey Littleton's taking it away. And we're not going to see it because we don't have the all 22, during the live game. But as soon as the all 22 comes out, I'll break down Corey Littleton, man. I'll pick out like 4 or 5 plays, and I'll share those with you guys so you guys can see his play. Last year, Corey Littleton's contract was not worth it. But a lot of that was because of the fact that it was Paul Gunther trying to run that defense. This year is different. Corey Littleton's worth it, man. He's showing up. He's making plays. He's making it hard on opposing quarterbacks. I know he doesn't have an interception. Yeah, he doesn't have a fumble. He doesn't have a sack. But what he does have is he has multiple times in which he's in coverage and the quarterback thinks twice of throwing it there. And then the defensive line's coming for sacks, right? Corey Littleton's part of the reason why this defense is dominating at the moment. 17 points today. That's insane. Did we allow less than 17 at all last year? I don't think so, man. We're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna get into the Mullen interception, Mike. So just a second. Omar said Farrell is done and looks like Arnett too. We'll wait, man. Arnett had a huge pass breakup on Chase. I believe it was Chase Claypool, or maybe it was Juju. But on the bottom of the screen, on the right side of the screen, he had a huge pass breakup. And we'll get into Farrell, man. Thank you for the super chat. Let's switch over, man. Markel Lee played a little bit for the Raiders today, which is crazy. I'm not sure if he had any actual defensive snaps. I feel like I saw him out there once or twice in the goal line situations, but the linebackers are flying. I didn't see a lot of KJ Wright today. I don't know if he was injured, if he was banged up. I'm not 100% sure what was going on with him, but I didn't see a ton of KJ Wright. Safeties, corners, let's get into this talk, man. I want to know what you guys think. If you guys can name one player in this secondary that is the best secondary player that's having the biggest impact, let me know right now in the comments below who that player is for you guys. Who's the one secondary player that you guys are seeing right now that is having impacts for the Raiders? It's explicit. G left $10 super chat, said, I love what I'm seeing, but I don't want to get overhyped because we need to sustain this throughout the season. Only week 2, still a great game. Thank you for the super chat. I totally agree with what you're saying. And I asked you guys the question, who's the guy? And literally every single one of you guys said it. And I 100% agree with you, man. It's Casey freaking Hayward, man. All day. Casey Hayward is the guy. There's some of you guys that are saying Abram and Merrick as well, but Casey Hayward is the guy, man. Right now, Casey Hayward is balling. You know what's crazy is this. Casey Hayward came to this team, and what were the expectations? We knew in the past he was an all-pro player. We knew in the past he was a Pro Bowler. But what were the expectations? Did we think that Casey Hayward will come in and Casey Hayward is going to be the next, potential best corner that the Raiders have? And he's doing just that, man. He's doing just that. Casey Hayward came into this game, and Casey Hayward balled out. And I want to give a huge shout-out to Casey Hayward. Because he had today, from a statistical standpoint, Casey Hayward came into the game and had 2 tackles, but more than that, he had 2 passes deflected, according to ESPN. Obviously, we'll see what PFF puts out there. I think PFF's a little bit better. But I think right now, Casey Hayward's making a run for potentially the Raiders' best defensive player overall. That's the type of impact he's having, which is crazy because you can make the same comparison for Max Crosby. You can make the same comparison for Yannick Ngakoue or even Jonathan Abram with the impacts he's having. I think Jonathan Abram is also having a great start to this season. Let's talk a little bit about Jonathan Abram, man, and we'll get into these super chats in just a second. But Jonathan Abram had so many solid plays in this game. He was making plays in which, the Steelers are running screens or they're trying to get the ball to the outside, and he was setting the edge on one play. He was forcing the ball carrier back to the inside on the next play. And Abram's not the type of guy that's going to get past deflections, right? That's not his game. He's not going to be in coverage. Jonathan Abram's not going to make plays in coverage. He might play underneath, right? He might make 1 or 2 plays. But he's not the best coverage guy. But what he does is he forces the defense into tough situations. It might be 2nd and 8, and Jonathan Abrams is the type of guy to shut the play down. And now it's 3rd and 7. Now it's 3rd and long, right? And you have to now do something else, right? I would say right after Casey Hayward, Jonathan Abrams having himself a year so far. And I know it's not statistically out there that he's having a year, but he's doing some good stuff, man. And we're going to talk about Mullen, Arnett, Levitt, and the other guys as well. But I want to get into these super chats really quickly. Joey, $2 super chat said, when I look at these players on D, have to be top 10. I totally agree, man. I said top 15. So do you guys think we're a top 15 defense? Because based off the players, I don't disagree, man. We're playing well right now. Dirty Styles left the $5 super chat. Levitt is going to hurt us deep in the year if we have to keep him. Arnett will be fine. Here's the thing, and I want to talk about Levitt. As you guys know, the Raiders do play 3 safeties a lot, right? They'll put Levitt deep, and they'll put Merrick deep, and they'll split the safeties, and then they'll put Jonathan Abram as a linebacker, right? And they'll play with one other linebacker, which is typically Corey Littleton or Denzel Perryman. I love that, man, especially when it comes to coverage, because that set right there gives the Raiders speed, right? It allows us to cover. I'm fine with Abram in the box as a quote-unquote linebacker because he can do things well in the box. And I don't disagree with you. I think there will be a time where, maybe it's Patrick Mahomes. Someone's going to test this deep, right? And if Levitt's out there, I'm not sure how confident I will be in Levitt. But you got to keep in mind, right? The Raiders have a safety that's currently on the practice squad that will be called up soon. A guy that's learning the system. His name's HaHa Clinton-Dix. He's the same guy that intercepted us when we were playing the San Francisco 49ers. He's going to come in, and I believe he was either an all-pro or a Pro Bowler at least once throughout his career. And I agree with what the other part of your comment, Dirty Styles. You said Arnett will be fine. We're going to talk about Arnett in just a second. I'll just get into these super chats really quickly. Bob, thank you for the super chat. Love seeing the defense being confident. Absolutely, man. There's nothing better than a confident defense. That right there, tell all of the analysts to keep that same energy. I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree, man. You know what's crazy is this defense is playing with confidence. And when a defense plays with confidence, it's hard to stop, man. And that's what the Raiders are doing right now. And that's why you go get guys like Casey Hayward and Max Crosby's going into year 3, and you start him. Don't put Cleveland Farrell in, put in Max Crosby. That's why you bring in guys like Gerald McCoy to help the confidence, KJ Wright and Hayward and all these guys, right? That's what's going to happen with the Raiders, man. You bring them in and you give them that confidence. Arnett gave away a big pass and failed to touch the receiver. We're going to get into all that. Trust me, I appreciate the super chat. Let's get into those other guys. Let's get into the other secondary players. Trayvon Mullen had a terrible game, in my opinion. And I know some of you guys might disagree with this. Let me know if you guys disagree with it. But I think Trayvon Mullen had a terrible game. And I say this. I know he got the interception. He got the interception because Max Crosby smacked the quarterback. And he threw it up. And Trayvon Mullen just happened to be there. But outside of that one play, I saw him give up at least 4 or 5 catches. And we can't have that. Our corners have to play better. I'm not 100% sure if Trayvon Mullen got benched, and that's why Damon Arnett came in, or if Trayvon Mullen was hurt. It was one or the other. And maybe I shouldn't say terrible, but it was not a good game. Like, I would not use the word good. I wouldn't even say he had an average game. I would say he had a below average game. Trayvon Mullen struggled, man. And the thing is outside of that interception, if it wasn't that interception that Mullen got, we would all be saying, what the hell is going on with Mullen? Because he gave up a catch right in front of him to Deontay Johnson on one side. He got beat on the other side. I believe it was Deontay Johnson as well on the left side of the field down the sideline. He also gave up a couple catches in the middle of the field. The Raiders played a little bit of man, although they played primarily zone. Mullen has to step up. And the thing is I have confidence in Mullen. Right. I don't think Mullen is a bad football player at all. I have confidence in Mullen. Mullen wants to be a great football player. And oftentimes when you want to be a great football player, you can get there. You can be that great football player. Trayvon Mullen, he'll be fine. Damon Arnett really struggled today at times. But he also had one good play, I will say, right? I would say the biggest thing was exactly what Razor Rowley said, which is Arnett gave away a big pass and failed to touch the receiver. And that was the big issue, right? Thank you for the super chat. 2 A's Kane, big W today. Arnett is looking like a bust. And I would not give up on Arnett yet, man. We got to keep in mind, this is his second season, his second ever season. Typically, I give a player 3 years. Right now, things are trending negatively for Cleveland Farrell. Obviously, we know there's a back issue, so we'll see how that kind of plays out. But with Damon Arnett specifically, this is year 2, only in his second game in year 2. He was kind of hurt all of last year. At the same time, I've seen Damon Arnett make plays, right? In the preseason, he broke up 2 passes against the Niners. Today, he broke up another pass. Like, it's different if a receiver drops the ball, right? That's not a positive play by the corner. But when the corner breaks the pass up, when he gets his hand in there and breaks the pass up, that right there matters. And Damon Arnett has shown that he can do that. He can get his hands in there and he can break the pass up. Now, I will say this. In my opinion, Chase Claypool pass interference, and it was just not called, which is terrible. He fully stretched his arm all the way out. You can't do that as an offensive player. If you put your arm out to give yourself room, that's fine. But if you fully stretch your arm out, that's an offensive pass interference. And the Raiders, for whatever reason, didn't get that call. And again, I don't know why, but it is what it is. In my opinion, Damon Arnett did give that catch up, but it was a pass interference. Outside of that one play, what did Damon Arnett really do, right? And people are saying, oh, well, he should have also touched Chase Claypool as he caught the ball, as he hit the ground. Are we sure Damon Arnett didn't touch him, or are we sure that as soon as Claypool caught the ball, he wasn't touched right away? Either way, that's a mistake, but that's a learning mistake, right? Remember, there was a play in Khalil Mack's, I believe it was his second season, in which him and Seal Moore got a sack together, and they started celebrating. I can't remember who the team was, but they started celebrating. And then I believe it was Justin Tucker, not Justin Tucker. I don't know. I can't even remember the guy's name on the top of my head, but one of our defensive linemen called a timeout because those two guys were celebrating. That was Khalil Mack, right? Those are learning lessons for players, and I think it'll be that's a learning lesson for Damon Arnett as well. If you allow the catch, you got to make sure they're down. But what a heads-up play by Jonathan Abram, man. That was just another play by Abram. Claypool catches the ball, and Abram runs down there and makes sure he tackles Claypool. That's a heads-up play by Jonathan Abram. Those are plays where you got to use your football awareness. And again, in my opinion, Jonathan Abram has a high football awareness. I know some people disagree because of his penalties. Penalties that he has come from his style of play, his physicality. But when it comes to being aware, Jonathan Abram does not lack it, man. He gets it. At the same time, thank you. That pissed off Justin Tuck. I remember. Yeah. So that was that play. But hopefully Damon Arnett learns from this play. In my opinion, the Raiders got the W, and that's all that matters. The Raiders ran 64 plays today. 64 total plays. Our third down efficiency was not great. We're 5 of 13, right? That's what, 40%. That's not acceptable. We got to get better. At the same time, the defense, 5 of 12, right, on third down. So the defense stepped up. Even then, we had a fourth down stop, right? That's huge. To get those fourth down stops from the defensive side of the ball is huge because those are points that are taken away. The Raiders had 10 drives, 6.6 yards per play, 373 passing yards, only 52 rushing yards. Penalties were pretty even. I mean, the Raiders really, really won this game after making mental mistakes. I would argue the Raiders are a better team than what we've seen. Here's the thing. The Miami Dolphins, we played them last year, and we played them week 3, and it's in Las Vegas this time. And the thing is and I don't quote me. I don't remember if the last game, I think the last time it was in Miami, but the Raiders this time have a huge advantage because we played a Miami Dolphins defense last year, so it's the same defense. We played the offense. It's the same offense. Now, I don't know if Tua is going to play. He did get hurt. I believe he hurt his hip or something, and he was knocked out of the game today. I believe it was Jacoby Brissett who's his backup. Don't quote me on that. But the Raiders have a huge matchup next week. And thing is the Raiders defense isn't the same defense the Dolphins played last year. We're now a cover 3 shell. Gus Bradley does his own thing. So it's going to be completely different than what it was last year. At the same time, the offense has more playmakers, right? It's a different offensive line, although I'd argue it's worse. It is what it is, right? Like, the Raiders have a lot to look forward to. We're 2-0. We won, and we got it done, man. That's all that matters at the end of the day. No one's going to say, player X was hurt or player Y was hurt, or this is why this team won or this is why this team lost. At the end of the day, everybody's going to look at the record only. The Raiders are 2-0, going back home next week, playing a banged-up Dolphins team who just lost their starting quarterback. The Raiders, this is it, man. I will argue this. The Dolphins, someone said they got shut out today. Their offense isn't that good, man. And our defense has only gotten better. But the Dolphins do have a good defense. They scheme it up well, and it's going to be a big test for the Raiders' offense. I saw struggles today, as I saw last week from the offense. I want to see more, man. I want to see more. And the thing is this offense is only coming together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Enjoy the win. Represent your guys' Raider gear to work, to school, whatever it is. If you're at home, rep your Raider stuff, man. Enjoy this victory. This is the best feeling in the world right here, man. Getting a W, beating a great team, being 2-0. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit that thumbs up button before you guys leave. I will see you guys next time with another video.